Have you ever heard the whispers of the shadows at night? They tell a chilling tale. In the quiet town of Cedar Grove, a man named Harold lived a solitary life. His only companions were the long, looming shadows cast by the moonlight that filtered through his window. But these were not ordinary shadows. They whispered. They murmured. They spun tales of terror that would make the bravest soul shudder. Harold was not a man easily frightened. He had lived alone for years, comforted by the silence and solitude. But these whispers, these spectral murmurs, they unsettled him. They weren't the creaks and moans of an old house settling into the night. No, these were voices, hushed yet insistent, always there, just out of reach, like a conversation overheard from another room. Night after night, Harold listened. The whispers were indistinct, a susurration of secrets on the edge of understanding. He strained to catch the words, to decipher the hidden meaning in their ghostly utterances. He paced the darkened halls of his home, following the sound as it moved, always just a step ahead of him, always just out of reach. The whispers became an obsession. They consumed his thoughts, dominated his nights. They were a puzzle to be solved, a mystery to be unraveled. He began to neglect his work, his health. All that mattered was the voices, the whispers in the shadows. And then, one night, a breakthrough. Amidst the usual murmuring, a word emerged, clear and unmistakable. A name. His name, Harold. The whispers were not random. They were not the disjointed ramblings of disembodied spirits. They were a message. For him, the realization struck him like a bolt of lightning. He was not alone. The voices, the whispers, they were with him, around him, inside his home, his sanctuary. He was never alone. The shadows were alive, whispering, watching, waiting. And as the whispers grew louder, he realized he was not alone. Imagine walking down a corridor that never ends, a corridor that holds a grim secret. In the heart of a quiet suburban town, a woman named Marianne discovered a curious anomaly in her century-old house. A corridor, impeccably ordinary at first glance, but held an eerie aura that defied the natural order. As she ventured further, the corridor seemed to stretch endlessly into the abyss, each step echoing with a chilling resonance that heightened her fear and intrigue. It wasn't the ever-extending length that unnerved her, but the peculiar happenings that began to unfold. Shadows danced along the walls, whispering secrets of a bygone era, and the temperature dropped drastically with each step she took. An inexplicable gust of wind would occasionally sweep through, carrying with it the scent of old, decaying wood and a hint of something rotten. The deeper Marianne delved, the stranger things became. Unseen hands brushed against her, cold and clammy. The flickering lights cast grotesque shapes on the walls, and the air became thick with an unspeakable dread. A soft, maddening hum filled her ears, the rhythm of a forgotten lullaby, or perhaps a dirge. It was hard to tell. Her pulse quickened, her breaths became shallow, yet a morbid curiosity propelled her forward. The corridor, a sinister enigma, drew her in, holding her captive in its never-ending grasp. As her sanity teetered on the edge, she felt an overwhelming sense of despair. Was she walking into oblivion? Was there any escape from this terrifying labyrinth? But then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the corridor vanished. Marianne blinked, her heart pounding in her chest. She was back in her cozy living room, the chilling experiences of the corridor fading like a half-remembered dream. Yet, the icy dread that had gripped her heart remained, a chilling reminder of the corridor's grim secret. And just when she thought she was lost forever, the corridor vanished. The memory of that endless corridor haunted her, a dark mystery forever etched in the corners of her mind. A grim secret, locked away in the never-ending corridor, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to stumble upon its terrifying existence. Ever found an object that you wished you hadn't? This is one such tale. In the heart of a small town, there lived a young girl with a knack for exploring. One day, her curiosity led her to the dusty corners of her attic, where she stumbled upon a peculiar object, a doll, old and antique, with a faded dress and glassy eyes that seemed to hold 1,000 stories. Intrigued, she decided to claim it as her own, oblivious to the eerie tale that was about to unfold. Days turned into weeks, and as she spent more time with the doll, strange occurrences began to take place. The once warm and welcoming home transformed into a place of uncertainty. Doors creaked open on their own, lights flickered without reason, and the chilling sound of whispers filled the silent nights. The cheerful girl began to feel a sense of dread, but she couldn't quite put her finger on the cause. One fateful evening, the truth revealed itself. As she was playing with the doll, its eyes suddenly glowed with an unnatural light, and a hushed voice echoed from it, whispering an ancient curse. The room turned ice cold, and her heart pounded as the doll's curse made itself known. The curse of the doll was not just a legend, but a dreadful reality. The once innocent plaything was now a conduit for the supernatural, a vessel carrying a powerful curse. The girl, caught in this chilling tale, was left to confront the horror she had unknowingly awakened. In her hands, the doll was no longer an object of fascination, but a symbol of terror. She was bound to it, tied by the invisible threads of the curse, and her life would never be the same again. As the doll's glassy eyes stared back at her, she knew she had awoken something dreadful. A forgotten cemetery, a place where the dead don't rest. Our story begins with a group of friends, fueled by curiosity and a thirst for adventure, deciding to explore an old, forgotten cemetery. Hidden away from the world, it was a place that time had forgotten, a place that held stories whispered only in hushed tones. What was once a solemn place of rest was now a haunting relic of the past, overgrown with wild vegetation and broken memories. As they delved deeper into the cemetery, an eerie silence fell over them. The whispers of the wind through the skeletal trees seemed to carry with them the murmurs of the long departed. The air grew colder, their breaths fogging up in the chilling atmosphere, and the hairs at the back of their necks stood on end. Their laughter and jests from earlier seemed to be swallowed by the oppressive air around them. The once vibrant group of friends was now subdued, their voices barely above a whisper. The shadows seemed to dance around them, playing tricks on their eyes. Was it just their imagination, or did they see figures lurking in the periphery? Their exploratory adventure took a sinister turn as they stumbled upon a crypt, its door ajar. With a shiver of apprehension, they uncovered the terrifying history of the cemetery. It was said to be the final resting place of those accused of witchcraft in the 17th century, and tales of unquiet spirits and hauntings were woven into its history. The suspense grew with each passing second. The wind howled, the trees groaned, and the echoes of the past seemed to reverberate through the air. The once forgotten cemetery was alive with the restlessness of the unquiet dead. As the terror gripped their hearts, they knew they had made a grave mistake. They had disturbed the rest of the forgotten, and the forgotten did not take kindly to it. As they fled from the cemetery, the chilling laughter of the dead echoed behind them, a haunting reminder of their trespass. As they fled from the cemetery, they knew they had disturbed the rest of the unquiet dead. These stories are not just tales, but reminders of the unknown that surrounds us. Reminders that reality is often stranger than fiction, and that the veil between our world and the unseen is thinner than we think. We've journeyed through the whispering shadows, down the never-ending corridor, met the cursed doll, and paid our respects at the forgotten cemetery. Each tale, a chilling testament to the mysteries that lurk in the dark corners of America. Our journey through the shadows has been eerie, to say the least. The whispering shadows told us of unexplained voices, of ethereal figures that lurk in the peripheral of our sight. The never-ending corridor took us on a haunting trip through time and space, a place where the rules of reality seemed to bend and twist. The cursed doll, an innocuous plaything, became a vessel for something sinister, proving that terror can come in the most unexpected of forms. And the forgotten cemetery, a place of rest that is anything but restful, showed us that sometimes the past refuses to stay buried. Each of these tales is a piece of a larger puzzle, a glimpse into the unknown that surrounds us. But these stories are not the end. They are but a small sampling of the eerie, the uncanny, and the downright terrifying tales that exist out there. We invite you to share your own experiences, your own encounters with the unexplained. Do you have a story that sends shivers down your spine? A tale that keeps you up at night? We want to hear it. If you enjoyed these chilling tales, don't hesitate to hit the like button. Comment below with your own scary stories, share this video with your friends, and remember to subscribe for more spine-chilling narratives. Thanks for watching, and remember, the shadows whisper to those who listen.